Today we have an ode to Masticore, a bunch of limited goodies, a backwards birthing pod, a devil getting choked to death, and so much more. Hope you're ready for some Phyrexia All Will Be One spoilers. In case you missed the previous 84 videos we've done this week, you can smack the link in the description below to check those out, but if you haven't missed anything and you're ready for today's video, make sure to say hello to Steven under the video. He's a real good boy. Give him a click. He loves clicks. Argenta Mastercore is 5 of anything for a 5/5 artifact creature Phyrexian Masticore with first strike and protection from multicolored. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Masticore unless you discard a card. When you discard a card this way, destroy target non-land permanent on opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to the mana value of the discarded card. I have a feeling many will disagree with me, but I think the Masticore has room to run, and not even just in limited necessarily. Sure, having a forced discard is rough, especially if you're top decking, but you're basically turning all your non-land cards into potential removal spells. And being a 5/5 first strike with protection from multicolored makes this a more than decent threat on the board. If you want to move beyond limited, this has the feel of a late game control card. Really, any draw-based strategy could survive the constant discarding and even thrive on it. Out of the sideboard, when you're trying to survive an onslaught from an early to mid-range creature-based deck, this as a 5/5 with first strike and a removal spell for no mana every turn, you could do much, much worse. I think it's worth a thought. Tablet of Completion is 2 mana for an artifact. You can tap it to put an oil counter on it. You can tap it to add 1 colorless. Activate only if the tablet has 2 or more oil counters on it. You can also pay 1 and tap it to draw a card. Activate only if the tablet has 5 or more oil counters on it. Okay, so this seems absurdly annoying. At least putting oil counters on it doesn't cost mana, and if you're playing Commander in a deck full of Proliferate, this could incidentally get enough counters to be useful, but I wouldn't blame you for not considering it. When you have 5 oil counters though, 1 mana to draw a card, geez, that's good. This would have to go into not only a Proliferate deck, but a very heavy Proliferate deck. Like, you play this tablet, get an oil counter on there, and then within a couple turns it's up to 5. At least at 2 it can mana rock, but without Proliferate you have to wait 2 turns to turn the mana rock on. The card's just bizarre, it's a weird card. Planar Disruption is 1 of anything in 1 way for an enchantment aura that can enchant an artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. This is absolutely insane and limited. Absurdly cheap and versatile compared to other cards like this, straight up cheaper than Arrest, and it hits more stuff, so just way better. Better than Desert's Hold, better than Pacifism, Oppressive Raise, Luminous Bonds, Trapped in the Tower. We're approaching the power level of Prison term here. Not quite there, but easily the best common pacifism variant probably ever. Quicksilver Fisher is 3 of anything and 2 blue for a 4/3 Phyrexian Drake with flying. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. I played Sky Eel School way back in Scars of Mirrodin Limited, and I fully intend to play Quicksilver Fisher in the same fashion now. 5 mana for a 4/3 with flying is barely passable, but looting is so good, it's so absurdly good. The card filtering you're getting here really puts it over the top and helps it earn its place near the top of a limited curve. Transplant Theorist is 3 of anything and 1 blue for a 2/4 artifact creature Phyrexian Artificer. Whenever it or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. You can pay 2 mana to put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Hello? This card is very good. It loots on its own entry and then every subsequent artifact entry after that forever, and you can get back whatever you discard or bring back your removal or bombs that got removed for 2 mana each, generic mana even. There's a ton of control and defensive power here. Imagine getting your Wake the Past back, or Organic Extinction, or Their Name is Death, or any artifact creature ever. Being able to tuck these important cards back into your deck means you're just 1 shuffle away from drawing them again. It's a really good uncommon. Blightbelly Rat is 1 of anything in 1 black for a 2/2 Phyrexian Rat with Toxic 1, and when it dies, Proliferate. This is great, it's a solid common. I love seeing the commons and uncommons revealed in a set because it helps to paint a picture of what the limited landscape is going to be like. If this is what we can expect out of the 2/2 bears in the set, I am very excited about limited this time around. Dynamic creature, on theme, synergizes with itself, it's perfect. You can't ask for much more from a common. Bonepicker Scourge is 2 of anything in 1 black for a 2/2 Phyrexian Imp with flying and corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, the Scourge has Death Touch and Lifelink. So this becomes Vampire Nighthawk when 3 poison counters hit your opponent. Filler common at worst, honestly. Even if you don't turn corrupted on, 2/2 with evasion, I've played much worse cards than this. Could be a nice way to get in some early damage, avoiding a blocker, helping you get on the offensive. Deck filler for sure, and you know, we need that sometimes. They're the unsung heroes. Feed the Infection is 3 of anything and 1 black for a sorcery. You draw 3 cards and you lose 3 life. Each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters loses 3 life. Okay, that corrupted ability just seems so random here. You're hanging out all by yourself, doing your business, drawing cards, drawing your own blood, the usual. But then right at the end, you poke your opponent with a sharp stick. It's just funny. It's a super sign in blood that's easier to splash, so it'll see play in Limited. Should be fine in Commander as well, as 3 life is effectively nothing there. Necrogen Communion is 1 of anything and 1 black for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. Enchanted creature has toxic 2. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. This is not uncommon power level. This is near rare power level. It gives a creature toxic 2, which automatically has a ton of value built in, especially since if something already has toxic, this adds to it. It's totally broken. Then when the enchanted creature dies, you straight up get it back on the battlefield for free, no downside. And the whole thing costs a measly 2 mana. This is 100% playable in Commander. It's outrageous in Limited as far as I'm concerned. It's just so much value for 2 mana. I'm a little baffled it isn't at least 3 mana. It's Insurance, Toxic 2, 2 mana. Gross, so gross. Vron Executioner Thane is 1 of anything and 1 black for a 2/2 legendary creature, Phyrexian Vampire. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. I really want to like this card, and I sort of do because the trigger is easy to activate and it hits each opponent, but I've got qualms. I don't like that it's other creatures you control, so Vran itself doesn't count, and I really don't like that it can only trigger once each turn. I'm not even bothered that the wording makes it so that a board wipe or mass kill spell will only trigger at once. I'm really just perturbed that it's only once a turn. I guess you can't expect too much from a 2 mana card, but this is a rare and Blood Artist isn't uncommon, so something is sus here is all I'm saying. Tyvar's Stand is X and 1 green for an instant. Target creature you control gets +X/+X and gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. I'm not even sure I care about the card itself, although it is just fine and scales really well. What I actually care about is the art and that flavor text. Tyvar is just death-gripping Tybalt. When they write songs about this battle, I will make sure your name is Forgotten Devil. I mean, that's just savage. Tyvar is a friggin' boss. Tybalt didn't stand a chance, did he? That's a big RIP. Viral Spawning is 2 of anything and 1 green for a sorcery. Create a 3/3 green Phyrexian Beast creature token with toxic 1. It also has Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters and Viral Spawning is in your graveyard, it has a flashback cost for 3. Okay, I'm falling in love with the limited feel in this set. Viral Spawning is sick. 3 mana for a 3/3 with toxic 1, sure, why not? But once it's in the yard, it has life again. 3 poison counters isn't nothing, but obviously toxic is all over the place in this set, so in limited it'll be there too. And if you can just limp across the finish line to 3 poison counters, you get another 3/3 beast with toxic 1. It isn't a super bomb or anything, but I'll probably play it in a green limited deck that even remotely does toxic shenanigans. Kethek Crucible Goliath is 2 of anything, 1 black and 1 red for a 4/4 legendary creature Phyrexian Beast. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card with lesser mana value, put it onto the battlefield, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is like a weird masochistic reverse birthing pod, and I think I'm into it. This is going to be in Commander in 2 different places. The first is its own strategy. Because it can't grab legendary creatures, you can absolutely build your deck in a way that lets you get pretty much whatever you want when this trigger goes off. It's going to take some testing and figuring out where you want certain cards, but it seems like an interesting challenge that I would spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. What are we talking about? Right, okay. The second place this goes is any deck that steals stuff. Commanders who enjoy using mob rule, captivating crew, really any iteration of active treason works. Kethek is a bit of an awkward card that requires a little building around to make work, but I think if you put the time in, it could be a lot of fun. Rough translation incoming. Serum-Core Chimera is 2 of anything, 1 blue and 1 red for a 2/4 Phyrexian Chimera with flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on the Chimera. You can remove 3 oil counters from the Chimera to draw a card. Then you may discard a non-land card. When you discard a card this way, the Chimera deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, activate only as a sorcery. We've seen roughly 12 billion Izzet Chimera in the history of Magic, and this one ranks among the weirdest. 4 mana for a 2/4 flyer is a nice blocker in the air. It accrues oil counters with ease, and then at worst, you use those oil counters to draw cards. But if you choose to loot instead of simply draw, it's like 3 free damage. Blue-red decks are always looting. Having the choice is a huge advantage, but you've got to admit there will be plenty of times that a lightning bolt on a creature or planeswalker is just more valuable than whatever non-land you're about to discard. I like this card quite a lot. I think it's very good. I feel like I'm equally excited about the Commander and Limited reveals today. On the one hand, we have a Rakdos Reverse Party Birthing Pod that will surely be nonsensical when made correctly, and on the other hand, we have really good Phyrexian Bearers. I can't decide which to care about more. Priorities are tough. I'd love to hear what you think about the set so far and what you're still hoping to see, if anything at all. Be sure to comment down below so I don't feel lonely and have someone to talk to about Magic the Gathering. Oh my gosh, I'm so lonely. Right, alright, anyways, remember to stay tuned right here for all the Phyrexian nonsense you could ever need, and as always, thanks for watching.